Hello there friends, and welcome to Making the Photo. Today we're diving into Dall-e 3. It's the latest iteration of Dall-e from OpenAI. It's come out just a week or so ago when I'm making this video. I was kind of holding out hoping it would show up in my ChatGPT Plus account, but it hasn't shown up there yet. So I'm going to show you how to access Dall-e 3 through the web-based interface. We're going to put Dall-e 3 to the test today and look at how it compares with Dall-e 2, which won't take us long at all because it's head and shoulders above its previous version. But we'll also pit Dall-e 3 against something that's more equivalent, which is Midjourney. For this video, I'm working in the current version of Midjourney, version 5.2. I think you might be a bit surprised about the result. So let's start by accessing Dall-e 3. So we're in the early days of Dall-e 3's release, and it should be rolling out to ChatGPT Plus and enterprise customers. I've been a ChatGPT Plus customer for a long time, and I'm still waiting for image generation. So we'll do it through the Bing interface. And if you've not used the ChatGPT Bing before, you're going to download Microsoft Edge. This is not a browser I was familiar with. It's not a browser I use very often. So we're going to Microsoft Edge. Again, this is a browser, and we're going to download the browser. I'm working on a Mac system, so I'm going to download it for Mac. So when you get your Edge installed and you open the browser, go to Bing Images Create. And this is what you'll see. You'll see a lot of this right now. We'll talk about the difficulty that Dall-e 3 is having keeping up with demand. I'm going to X that out right now. So you will need to sign up for a Microsoft account if you don't have one. If you do, you can sign in. But this works like many other image generators. You've got a prompt box here where you describe what you'd like to create, and then you'll have a generate button. Let me see. Let me just try that. You'll see it will prompt me to sign in. Now, once you get signed in, you may see something like this as your workspace. Again, they're having a lot of problems today, so I'm probably not going to work in real time. I had better luck earlier in the day getting some images generated. So I'm going to X that out. So it did run my prompt, but if you want to run a different prompt, then you would just click Create over here on the side. Now you're given some credits. These are boost credits. It appears that the site is running free. Right now you're giving boosts. Those aren't helping me a lot. There's a lot of, you'll see over here on the side, prompt blocked. All that means is that my prompt didn't run because it timed out. So just like Dall-e 2, you put in what you want to see, click Create, and you'll get 4 images back. Click on the image to enlarge it. You have the option to save it, and I'll show you how to access your old images. They are sort of saved. Right now, Dall-e 3 does not have the extensive library that Dall-e 2 has. I assume they'll sort that out. But I would suggest saving your images, the ones that you like, and then downloading the ones you like. Customize takes you to the Microsoft Designer app, so you can play with this, make social media posts out of it, that kind of thing. And Share is going to give you a link to this particular image. You'll get some sort of history here on the side, but it does stop fairly quickly after about, what is that, about 20 generations. Let me stop for a second and show you how to get access to your older generations. There's a history up here under Microsoft Edge. There's a history. Go to Manage History, and now you're going to see all the different prompts that you ran. And the last one I can see on this page is this silhouette art. So that is this last one here. But you can see that I have other image creator pages. So if I want to go back to an older generation that's not in my history, let's go giant octopus. Just click on it in your history and you will see this again. This image again. You can do everything you could when the page was original. You have the share button, the save button, the download button, and the customize button. I assume that's going to be sorted out when the Dall-e 3 website fully launches, because Dall-e 2 has a more extensive library. So Dall-e 3 does have a website. So it's openai.com/Dall-e 3. And it looks very much like the Dall-e 2 website. In fact, if you click login up here and click Dall-e, it is going to take you to the Dall-e 2 website. Okay, so this is the existing Dall-e website. I haven't talked about Dall-e 2 for a long time on this channel, mainly because it just was a very basic image generator. It hasn't been updated for what, probably more than a year. And we'll do a little comparison while we're here. Dall-e 3 is head and shoulders above Dall-e 2. There's just no question. It's like they skipped 12 versions in between Dall-e 2 and Dall-e 3. So here's the octopus prompt. Giant octopus playing piano in a forest. You'll see Dall-e 2, general idea, but very basic in its generation. And Dall-e 3 is just heads and shoulders above this. So I'll show you a couple of these, but you'll see very easily that Dall-e 3 is so much better than Dall-e 2. So we're going to give Dall-e 3 a little bit more of a challenge. It's not Dall-e 2 that we're comparing Dall-e 3 with. It's really something like Midjourney and Midjourney 5.2. Now I'm not going to run these prompts in real time because I am having prompts timing out on me right now. So I'm going to just show you some of my favorites. I've got some tests that I put the AI image generator through. And let's start with some object recognition and realistic placement. So the prompt is a dog sitting on a sofa in a living room. Just what does it do with the dog? Does it get the setting right? So you see both of these, no problem doing that. Let's do something a little more realistic, a hyper-realistic rose with morning dew. Dall-e 3 is amazing at what it's producing, but so is Midjourney. Especially version 5 in Midjourney is really good at realism, and it looks like Dall-e 3 is as well. Now let's go to a portrait. So portrait of a woman wearing vibrant Kuba cloth dress. So this gets a little bit at the diversity as well. What's it going to do with Kuba cloth? That is a textile from Africa. And again, we get very good images from both of the AI image generators. Midjourney is much better at hands and faces, and it looks like Dall-e 3 is going to either match it or surpass it. Let's go into some fantasy and imagination. One of the things I found working in Midjourney is that sometimes when you ask for something that is beyond the training set, it does struggle with concepts like the octopus playing the piano. So let's put those two images side by side, one from Midjourney and one from Dall-e 3. And you'll see that Midjourney is struggling to put the octopus actually playing the piano. Let's try one more. Let's have a cat. But this cat has 3 eyes. Again, Midjourney is struggling with the concept of a 3-eyed cat, but Dall-e isn't. So if we can imagine it, it seems that Dall-e can produce it. Now I'm moving on to testing text. Text has been one of those holy grails of AI image generation. Midjourney does not handle producing text very well. Let's see how Dall-e handles text. Again, Dall-e 3 is doing very, very well. The bookstore example is a general impression of text. So as you get closer to the books, you'll notice it is kind of gibberish. But if I specifically prompt for text, like in a logo or a subscribe button, the odds are much better in Dall-e 3 that I'm going to get the correct spelling. It's much better than Midjourney right now. Let's try a pattern just to see how well it can handle precise details in many, many lines. My favorite prompt is illusory tessellation. Tessellation is like a pattern that fits together. Illusory is going to add a sense of 3D. Now, one thing I like a lot about Midjourney is that if you just have a very simple prompt, the AI is able to come up with something amazing. It will start filling in the details, give you a beautiful image no matter what you prompt. So if I prompt for something like flat lay, which is an art concept where you photograph a set of objects in a pattern from above, both Midjourney and Dall-e can fill in with astonishing details. Now, I did try longer prompts. Dall-e 3 truncated the prompt at 76 words. Now, Midjourney might be doing this as well. 77 tokens seems to be kind of the cutoff point. But Midjourney is not going to do anything with your prompt. It's not going to truncate it. It's not going to give you an error. Whether it's paying attention to anything beyond 77 words is up for debate. But we did get quite different images between Dall-e and Midjourney. One thing I really like to do when I'm testing these AI image generators is prompt for nonsense, either nonsense words or a nonsense phrase, just to see what the AI is going to come up with. It sort of gives me a flavor of its underlying aesthetic. So I did this phrase, and in Midjourney, it came out a bit more poetic. Prompting for an artist's name is a shorthand way of telling the AI what kind of style you want. And one of the benefits of an AI is to be able to mix these styles. And so I'm going to put in a couple of my favorite artist mixes to see what I come up with. It has been reported that Dall-e 3 has been trained to decline to generate images in the style of a living artist. I didn't find any errors or anything when I prompted for artists. Because I'm prompting for multiple artists, I am expecting the AI to blend these styles together, so I don't expect it to really look like either artist. What Midjourney gave me is very different from what Dall-e gave me. They're very different, and I'm very, very pleased with both of them. And finally, I prompted just to see about the knowledge base. And I know there are terms that Midjourney struggles with, so I prompted for a few of those. And it does appear that Dall-e 3 does have a larger knowledge base. Now again, Midjourney is training version 6, so we'll have to try some of these tests again. So there are some teething problems. Right now, they're swamped with people trying out Dall-e 3. It is taking some time to generate images. Sometimes the prompts are timing out. But like Dall-e 2, there are some limitations to the Dall-e system. There is limited flexibility when compared to Stable Diffusion and Midjourney. So for instance, you can't change the aspect ratio. You don't have guidance scales or parameters that help you modify the image in a technical way. So when Dall-e 3 fully rolls out, I anticipate it being much like Dall-e 2 with the full history, outpainting, inpainting, those sorts of tools. There's some real promise here. The images themselves look very sophisticated, very detailed. It looks as if the AI is paying attention to your prompt in a very detailed way. In some ways, it might be a little bit more literal than, say, a Midjourney. Midjourney tends to be a little bit more fanciful. So you may have to prompt a little bit more and leave less up to the AI. One of the things you'll also like very much is that there is no Discord. This is a web-based option. So once you start looking at Dall-e 3, write in and let me know what you like and what you don't like about this new OpenAI image system. This is Janet making the photo. Let's make something amazing together.